well, but his first year at the helm of the Saint Edmon Gales girls roster. So obviously tons and tons of change for both teams as they continue to move forward and gain experience. And really one of the final keys to the game is who's going to commit less turnovers tonight. And that kind of ties into that last point about how sloppy of a game we're going to see. You know, you think about fouls, you think about turnovers, and these are certainly two teams that commit a lot of turnovers as they're both tied for the most turnovers committed in the conference. They're just committing under 20 turnovers at 19.9 per game. If one of these teams can keep it, around that 10 turnover mark, where the other team's a little bit closer to 20 in this one, that's going to give them a huge edge in this game, and really the ability to take control of it. Whichever team takes care of the ball a lot better and can create transition opportunities off of the opposing turnovers. Use that athleticism, get out and run off those turnovers, really try to put some pressure on the opposing defense. So whichever team is able to execute that tonight is going to have a great chance to make it. So turnovers, free throws, transition opportunities, those are just going to be a few among many things that we're going to be looking at here tonight between Algona and Saint Edmon. Crowd starting to settle in, obviously, as we know this season. A much smaller crowd than we're used to seeing in basketball. Hopefully by next year we're able to get back to more full stadiums and full arenas, but certainly they do all they can to get family members of the team in the crowd. Tonight the Algona team, they're going to be coming out wearing their white uniforms, red lettering, and the black outlines around the letters. Typical home uniform from the Bulldogs, and all indications are St. Edmond's going to be wearing their green uniforms here tonight, so should be an interesting matchup between these two teams, and they do have a lot of work to do in that North Central Conference going forward, but no better way to start than just getting it going after winter break. Algona's playing again tomorrow. It'll be a back-to-back, but can't look ahead to that game yet. Just have to focus on this one and take care of the task that's in front of you, and that task is St. Edmon. It's not going to be easy for the Bulldogs to get the win here tonight, but Coach Noel McLaughlin, who coached the boys for 15 years, had a lot of success, and now is trying to bring some more of that success back to the girls program. Thinks that he has his team ready to come out here and start to turn things around a little bit in the second half of the season. And, this is an Algona team that, even though maybe not a lot of these players have experience winning a ton, you can look at the past of this program. They've had just winning seasons upon winning seasons. In fact, if you go back to 2006, they've only had 3 double-digit loss seasons, and they've never had a losing season in that time period. So obviously they're on track to have a losing season this year, but the players trying to avoid that as much as possible. Or even if they can't, they can play spoiler down the stretch for a lot of teams. They can be a tough out for a few teams that are trying to vie for the top of conference position. And that's really what a team like Algona can do. You still have a lot of motivation, even if you're not contending for the conference title necessarily. And really the same thing applies to St. Edmond. You have a chance to be a spoiler. You have a chance to be a team that other teams.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the campus of Algona High School and the Bulldog Gymnasium for this evening's North Central Conference matchup between our visitors on the scoreboard, the Saint Edmon Gales, and your Algona Bulldogs. The Gales enter tonight's game with an overall record of 1-7 and a 1-4 conference record, while Algona enters tonight's game with an overall record of 1-8 and a conference record of 1-4. Ladies and gentlemen, supporting sportsmanship is a priority with both schools competing tonight. In association with the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, we ask that you please cheer on your team, treat people with respect, and accept the results of this contest as an honest competition between young adults. Your cooperation is appreciated. Our officials for tonight's game are Dan Dingman, Tony Dahl, and Tony Halstead. And now let's meet the starting lineups. First, for the Gales, a senior, number 4, Leah Johnson. A senior, number 12, Kelly Kirsten. A junior, number 14, Kirsten Clark. A senior, number 34, Leah Neverman. And a junior, number 44, Gracie Harvey. The Gales are coached by head coach C.J. Tracy and assisted by Sean Neverman. And now let's meet the starters for your Algona Bulldogs. A 5'9" senior, number 20, Alexa Chase. A 5'8" sophomore, number 22, Lillian Etherington. A 5'9" junior, number 32, Izzy Henry. A 5'11" sophomore, number 42, Alayla Perry. And a 5'7" junior, number 44, Maddie Hilbert. The Bulldogs are coached by head coach Noel McLaughlin and assisted by Dave Beisch, Ashley Nichols, and Todd Van Otterloo. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise as you are able and remove your caps as we honor the great nation with the playing of the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, the Star-Spangled Banner. Let's play some basketball.
It's basketball time from Algona High School as the two teams are at center court, ready to tip it off between Algona and Saint Edmond. Tip won by Saint Edmond, and we're underway. They got off to a little shaky start there as they almost forgot what direction they were going on the court. Pass on the low block, now out to the foul line. Now down beneath again, driving into the lane, a kick out, into the lane again. Some early ball movement here from Saint Edmond. They try to feed it down into the paint, and a travel is going to be called against Leah Neverman. They'll try to get the ball a lot to her down low in this ball game, as they do and pretty much have done throughout the entirety of the season. So that'll be something to keep an eye on if Algona is able to force some Neverman turnovers in this one. Chase with the basketball. She'll give it up to Perry. Perry looking inside, pumps a couple times, gives the ball up. The drive to the left, a bounce pass to the near corner to Maddie Hilbert. Algona going from right to left on your radio dial as Etherington gets the ball, tries to drive right. A defender crashes to the ground as she kicks it back out. Ball ends up in Perry's hands just at the top of the key. Gives the basketball up, now driving right is Etherington. Banks it hard off the glass, a little bit too strong though, and the shot no good. As we're 1 minute into this one, Saint Edmond coming back up the court. It's Harvey with the basketball. Harvey gives the ball up to Kirsten. Now back to the foul line to Neverman. Neverman looks to drive right, kicks it out to the right wing. Harvey, 3, wedges in there on the side and bounces off to the edge. No good. Rebound Algona. Hilbert coming the other way after getting the rebound. Both teams looking for their first score of the game as Etherington gives the ball to Perry. Perry jab steps, now drives right, blows by the defender, but loses control of the basketball, picks it back up, kicks it, right elbow jumper. Off to the right is a miss from Chase, and a jump ball will be called here. Possession arrow staying with Algona, 6:28 on the clock. Algona will inbound from underneath the basket on the near side. Looking is Hilbert. Hilbert lobs it in. Etherington out beyond the 3-point line, drives, gets to the right of the lane, bounce pass out. Now Perry ends up with the ball on the left elbow. Starts in, left of the lane, kick to the near corner. 3 ball is airballed by Hilbert. That one will go out of bounds, and it was touched by Algona, so Saint Edmond gets the ball back. Both teams looking for win number 2 on the season here as Clark will inbound it for Saint Edmond. Algona applies a little bit of full court pressure. Pass to the far side of the court to Johnson. Johnson into the front court. Johnson tries to feed it into the paint to Neverman. Collects herself, drives right. Might have had that one partially blocked as Perry comes away with it. And it's Algona basketball. They pass it across the timeline, almost intercepted there, but Algona maintains control as Harvey bothered that last pass. A couple quick passes around the perimeter. Etherington to Perry on the right elbow. Thought about shooting for a second, but gave it up to Chase. Chase just left of center, passing it to the right to Etherington, now to the far side, driving and dribbling it off the foot is Henry. Rolls back to Perry, though. 5:40 on the game clock. Passing it inside is Etherington. Perry to work on the low block. Has that ball erased, though, by Leah Neverman. And fumbling with the ball a little bit, coming into the front court is Harvey. Saint Edmond getting ready to make massive substitutions here. A pass inside on the block to Neverman. She brings it out back beyond the 3-point line. Now gives it to Johnson. Johnson fires it right to Harvey. Now around the perimeter to Kirsten, feeds it inside. Rotating and missing the shot is Clark, but she got fouled on the play, and Kirsten Clark will head to the foul line to try to put the first points of the ball game on the board. That was a nice little move going to her right by Clark, and the defense could do nothing but foul her as the first foul shot bounces off the rim and goes in, and the scoreless tie is broken. Saint Edmond first on the board today. They'll make big substitutions here. Allison Neeland into the game. Casey Krutoff, among others. A couple bounces. Foul shot on the way, and Clark banks that one in. Clark will check out as well. Emma Allstad into this one. Avery Galis as well on the floor, and Maya McLean. So that's a little bit more of the normal lineup that Saint Edmond will go in after giving a few of their rotational players a little bit of run here to start off the ball game. Tora Solback, who just checked into the game for Algona, gives up the basketball. Passing to Perry. Perry drives inside, goes up strong, and she gets hacked. Perry just attacked right against the 2 defenders, and she'll head to the foul line and try to tie it up at 2. Layla Perry this season, 36.8% free throw shooter. Perry, a sophomore, misses on the first foul shot. One of the few players on this Algona team who ended up getting a lot of minutes last season on a very good Bulldog team, ended up with a winning record as Perry. Second foul shot off to the side, no good. Algona still hasn't been able to put the ball in the bucket yet. Into the front court come the Gales. It's McLean. McLean passing to the left to Galis. Galis looking inside to throw at someone, goes up top of the key to Allstott. Ball moves up to the top again to Neeland. Nyland bounce pass to McLean. She'll fire up a long jumper. No good as she left it short. And the rebound ripped down by Etherington. Across the timeline, a pass to Solback. Solback inside to Perry. Goes up strong. Counter than the foul. Alayla Perry just attacking the paint here early in this ball game. And she'll have a chance to finish off a 3-point play. Perry this season putting together a nice campaign. 9 points a game, 5.8 rebounds. And her foul shot off to the left, no good. Bounces and is rebounded by Neeland. Galis with the basketball, being shadowed by Etherington. Tried to pass it to the far side of the court, but fired it over the head of Emma Allstott. It sails out of bounds, and Algona gets the ball back. We parried it inbound from the far side of the court, and she'll give it into Etherington. Etherington slowly works it across the timeline as it's a 2-2 tie. 4:15 in, ticking on the clock. Into the low block to Perry again. Off the glass and good. I have a feeling that's going to be a theme of the game here tonight. Alayla Perry once again attacking down low and getting a layup. She has all 4 points as a foul committed in the backcourt. McLean came running in to try to intercept the pass before Solbach could get her hands on it, but they'll call Solbach on the foul as she ended up running into McLean and not giving her an opportunity to catch that ball. McLean gets the inbound, fires it near side. Allstott now back to McLean, passing it into the front court. A couple quick short chest passes, and Allstott traveled that time. She took a quick jab step inside the 3-point line and dragged the shoes. So a turnover here, and the ball will go back to Algona. 3:53 on the clock. Into the front court comes Solbach. Solbach picks up her dribble, passes it left wing to Effrington. Effrington drives, has that shot erased. McLean knocks it out of bounds. Great defense there by Maya McLean as Effrington was bearing down on her like a freight train, and additionally had a 3-inch height advantage, but McLean held her ground and was able to knock the ball out of bounds. Ball inbounded by the Bulldogs to Chase. Tried to put up a shot, that one blocked too. Rolls loose on the ground though, retained by Algona, and Solbach ends up with it. Right wing Effrington, now back to the left side to Chase. Passing it to the right. Couple quick passes from Algona. Solbach drives, and they'll call a foul on that one. So it looks like they will get that not in the act of shooting, blocking foul here. So inbound from underneath the basket. And a quick substitution here by Saint Edmond as Alexis Miracle will come into the game. She will replace Casey Krutoff. Inbound to Solbach, works around the perimeter, passing to the far corner to Effrington. Now right wing Solbach. Solbach dribbling with her left hand, takes a couple steps backwards, now passes it to Hilbert. Hilbert tried to hand it off there to Effrington, bobbled with it briefly, got it back, passed to the left wing to Solbach, takes a step in, now backs it up again, sends it right to Hilbert. Hilbert drives right, kicks to the far corner to Effrington. Effrington bothered there, got it back. Now into Perry. Perry down low, swarmed by 4 defenders, kicks it out. Right wing 3-ball on the way, and it's banked in. Effrington hit it off the glass and got it to go. 7-2 lead Algona. Ball almost thrown away in the backcourt by St. Edmond. They get it into the front court. Couple bounces by Galis. Galis fires the pass. Perry tried to pick it away, but committed a foul instead. Bumped into Nyland there. And big substitutions here by both teams. Ava Henry into the game for the first time for Algona. St. Edmond pretty much makes a 5-person substitution there. Johnson, Kirsten, Harvey, Clark all into the ball game. With the basketball is Clark. Clark tried to get it inside. Ball got knocked away, and then Algona throws it away right back to St. Edmond. Clark gets the ball, looks inside, tried to throw it onto the block to Neverman, but Neverman ended up getting fouled on the play as she was receiving that pass. So a lot of early fouls in this one. A few turnovers, and both teams off to a bit of a sloppy start in this game, but Algona will take it as they're up 7-2. St. Edmond with the ball. Kirsten floats it inside. Trying to go to work is Neverman, kicks it out. 3-ball on the way, no good from Harvey. Ball loose on the floor. Solbach tries to pick it away, and she does. Took it right out of Clark's hands, and then she throws it away right to Kirsten. Kirsten into the lane to Neverman. Neverman passing it down low to Harvey. Kicks it out. Mid-range jumper, no good from Johnson. And rebound for Algona. They dodge a couple bullets on that possession. Solbach across the timeline, 1:53 on the clock. Steps back for a 3. Rolls off the iron, no good. Rebound to St. Edmond. Harvey into the front court. Dribbling with her right hand, takes a couple steps back towards the Bulldog logo. Bounce pass to the right wing. Kirsten feeds it inside, and a nice layup by Clark. Kelly Kirsten finding Kirsten Clark, and it's a 7-4 ball game. Algona still leading it. Now back for the basketball, Solbach for the Bulldogs across the timeline. Dribbles around the screen, fires a 3 from the right wing, and swishes it. Tora Solbach used a screen to perfection that time. Had plenty of space, hesitated for a minute, but still decided to take the shot and made it. 10-4 Algona. And now a double dribble is going to be called against St. Edmond. They'll get Neverman on that one, and we're seeing the theme emerge here early. Both these teams are leading the conference in a category you don't want to lead it in, and that's most turnovers committed, and we have certainly seen some turnovers so far in this one. Down to 1 minute in the first quarter. Solbach kicks it into the near corner to Henry. Back to Solbach, left wing. Solbach dribbles to her right around the perimeter, now switches to her left, passing it into the paint to Chase. Tries to turn around, but fires it off the side of the backboard. No good. Peeling away the rebound, and that one will go out of bounds off of Algona. Some nice gritty rebounding effort there by Clark, as she was able to just rip it right out of the hands of a Bulldog. 43 seconds and ticking in quarter number one. A very quick first quarter so far. Johnson swinging the ball around wildly on the left wing, passing it to the far corner. Now back up top. Pass around the perimeter towards the near corner. Now a floater into the lane looking for Neverman, but that ball is a bad pass and it's taken away by Algona. Henry got it and gives it to Solbach. 22 seconds as Solbach slowly brings it into the front court. We'll see how much clock Algona wants to work here. Solbach started to her left, now backs up a couple steps as we're down to 12 seconds. Dribbles with her right hand, heads towards the right side, around the screen from Chase. She'll pull up for a right wing three, front iron, no good. Offensive board though, collected, put back up, partially blocked. Kaylee Carroll couldn't get it to fall. 1 second, and the buzzer sounds on quarter number one. Algona takes a 10-4 lead right here on home country. Back here on Hometown Radio, as with a first quarter lead of 10-4, Algona is looking for their second win of the season as they're taking on Saint Edmond, and a very interesting first quarter it was. Leading scorer so far, Alayla Perry. She has 6 points for Algona, and right now she is doing just a lot of work in the paint as she checks back into the game. Algona has pretty much relentlessly just attacked the inside. Solbach's taken a couple step-back threes, but a lot of the offense besides that has been feeding it inside to Perry. St. Edmond basketball coming out of the timeout, driving to the left, McLean, and she'll get fouled as someone reached up underneath her arms there and made contact. So McLean's going to head to the free throw line here. She's a 57% free throw shooter, and like we mentioned in the pregame, this St. Edmonds team has had just a devil of a time making foul shots this season, as the first one is on the way. Rattles off the rim a couple times, no good. But so far in the season, they're at just under 42% from the charity stripe, and that is last in the conference percentage-wise by a pretty decent margin. Second one on the way from McLean, no good as Perry rips down the board. Gives the ball to Etherington as she'll jog it into the front court, dribbling right hand to left hand, now for right, kicks it towards the right side. Another pass to the right wing to Hilbert. Hilbert gives the ball up back to Etherington, works her way through the lane, puts it off the glass and spins it in. She just attacked right through the middle of the defense there, and nothing could be done to stop her. Coming back the other way, St. Edmond with the basketball. They pass it to the right to Galis, almost lost it into the backcourt, and she did. Looked like she was going to save it there for a minute, but her second dribble after saving it from going into the backcourt just touched that line, and that's going to be an over and back violation. So here comes the Bulldogs into the front court. With the basketball right now is Hilbert. Picks up her dribble, looking for someone to pass to, lobs to Perry. Perry passes it right to Effrington. Effrington through the middle again, and she'll get fouled. They're going to get Allstott on a blocking foul. And Algona, once again, they're just driving Perry inside and driving Effrington inside to start off this game. And that's not a bad way to go. Saint Edmond commits the most fouls in the conference, so the more you can attack inside and more you can force them to commit fouls, the more pressure that you can cause. Effrington sinks the first one from the charity stripe. She has 6 early points in this ball game. Second one on the way. That one no good. She gets it back, though. Great hustle on that play. Passing it to Henry. On the way, no good. Offensive board, though, is put up and put in by Kaylee Carroll. How do you like that? 15-4 Algona lead. 6:43 on the clock. St. Edmond into the front court. Some pressure from Algona, but they're able to break the timeline. And another travel. Emma Allstott tried to take a couple pivots there before she made the pass, but dragged the shoe once again. And Algona really isn't having to defend too many shots. They're really just having to force turnovers here and mistakes like double dribbles and travels by St. Edmond. They'll take it as a defensive strategy so far. Perry passing it right to Effrington, looks back to Perry. Perry has it swatted away briefly, kicks it back out beyond the three-point line. Effrington spins to her right, passes to Perry. Short corner jumper on the way, and she knocks it in. Alayla Perry now with 6 points in this one. And you don't see that too often, as that was a nice range displayed there by Perry. Under 6 minutes now, 17-4 Algona. To the right to Galis. Galis gives the ball up to Allstott. Allstott looking inside, holding the basketball, passing it back out up top to McLean. McLean drives right. McLean spins it up there, had it partially blocked, got it back, had it slip away from her hands again, and coming away with it is Algona. Effrington. Effrington of some pace. Effrington to the right of the lane. Scoop layup, score! Lillian Effrington confidently attacking the basket. 19-4 Algona. What a run here in the second quarter by the Bulldogs. Coming out very definitively in this one. St. Edmond trying to answer from the foul line, Galis. Galis double teamed, had the ball peeled at, and that's a jump ball. Great hustle that time by Ava Henry, reaching in there to cause the jump ball. And St. Edmond will just make a 5-player substitution. Johnson in, Clark in, Kirsten in, Harvey into the game. And Neverman back in as well. St. Edmond really likes those mass substitutions. Taking down the 5 minutes, 19-4. That is the lead for Algona, and the pass intercepted. Coming up the court the other way, St. Edmond. Layup up, it's good, and the foul. Gracie Harvey able to go through contact in the transition opportunity and has a chance for the three-point play.
Lillian Effrington called for her second.
They'll get Effrington on that one. That'll be the second foul from Effrington. And Harvey, 34.8% from the charity stripe. That one off to the side, no good. Offensive rebound, tipped, goes back up with it, no good. Ripping at it is Neverman, and they'll call another jump ball. This one will stay with St. Edmond. Algona will run in a couple quick substitutions. Izzy Henry into the game. Ava Henry as well. Clark looking, gets it in, and the layup is up and good. Was able to pass that one right into the lane and got it to Kelly Kirsten. 19-8 now as St. Edmond has scored the last 4 points. Perry with the ball on the left side out beyond the three-point line, passes it top of the key to Chase. Chase gives it up to Solbach. Dribbling of her left hand, takes a step back, now starts forward, scoops it underhand to Perry. Perry back up to the top of the key, gives the basketball up to Chase, and she traveled. Not a lot of pressure on Chase that time. I think she just kind of lost track of what she was doing, and that'll be a turnover by Algona. Johnson gives the ball up to Harvey as she brings it across the timeline, dribbling with her left hand, tried to go down the center of the lane, bounced it away. Now down low to Neverman, and ball knocked out of bounds by Algona. Now early in the game, St. Edmond really trying to establish Neverman down low, but we haven't seen a whole lot of touches from her in the second quarter up to that point. And the pass rolls to Neverman. Now she'll pass it out beyond the three-point line. Johnson, they try to go down low, tipped away from Clark, and taken by Algona. Solbach coming the other way. 4:05 on the clock. 19-8, Algona lead. Solbach dribbles left, heads towards the corner, hands the ball off. Heading to the right, Henry now gives it back to Solbach. She loses the defender, stops for a three-pointer, no good. Rebound Saint Edmond. Kirsten gives the ball up to Harvey. Harvey up the court to Johnson. Johnson looking inside. Now Johnson looks back to her right, gives the basketball up, and a push is going to be called there as Clark received the basketball and was pushed by a Bulldog.
Personal foul called on Tora Solbach, her second.
We'll get Solbach on that one. That'll be her second foul.
Clark shooting 1-1.
Clark comes into the game. This will be a 1-1 here for Saint Edmond. First one on the way, rattles off, no good. 3:41 on the clock. 19-8 lead by Algona. With the basketball, Hilbert around the perimeter, passes it far to the right, across the lane, now out to Chase. Chase to the right to Solbach. Solbach cuts across the foul line, passing it to the near corner, Hilbert. Hilbert had it popped away and out of bounds. 3:23 on the clock, 19-8, Algona lead. They'll bring Ava Henry into the game. She'll replace Solbach. Inbounds play here for Algona. Hilbert gets it in to Henry. Henry dribbling left to right, picks up a dribble, fires it far to Chase. Chase tried to go down on the block to Perry, had it trickle off of her knees though and out of bounds. Right idea there, as Perry's had some good success when she's gotten the ball down low here tonight, but just unable to finish it. 3:10 on the clock. Bounce pass to Clark. Clark drives towards the baseline, tries to bounce it over to Kirsten, and that one got knocked out of bounds by Algona again. Algona's come out with some good energy on defense tonight. A lot of active hands. They've stripped a few balls away. They've knocked a few passes out of bounds. 3-ball on the way. Doinks off to the right. No good from Harvey. Perry comes up with the basketball, gives it up to Henry. Henry up to the court to the near corner. Taking a couple dribbles is Hilbert. Hilbert now will bring it back towards the center, towards the Bulldog logo. Gives the ball, Chase firing it to the right. Now back out to Henry beyond the three-point line. Drives through the lane, had the ball ripped out a little bit, and that caused her the travel. She was trying to swing the basketball away from a defender that time, but in doing so, kind of threw her off balance a little bit and had to take a step there without dribbling. They will call that every time. 2:33 on the clock. Bounce to Neverman. On the right wing, looking for the screen, dribbles left. The defense able to switch quickly. Neverman gives the ball up to Johnson. And she'll dribble it back up top and let the offense reset itself. Sends it to Kirsten. Kirsten started to drive, but a timeout will be called by Saint Edmond. It's a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. 19-8, Algona lead. And last few minutes, there has just been a drought in scoring. Algona got off to that huge start to the second quarter, went up 19-4. And since that point, St. Edmund has scored the last 4 points, but St. Edmund has also not scored the last few minutes either. It's been a lot of missed shots, a lot of missed turnovers by both sides. And that is where we are at right now, a 19-8 Algona lead. Both teams trying to start off their first game of 2021 with a win. Like I mentioned earlier, Algona doesn't have too much time to sleep on this one tonight, though, as they'll have a game tomorrow as well. They'll be taking on Garner Hayfield Ventura. That's a road matchup for Algona as we resume. And once again, Algona's going to knock a pass out of bounds. Henry got into the passing lane that time and just flicked it away into the Algona bench. 2:07 on the clock. St. Edmond basketball. Clark dribbling, lobs it into the lane. Neverman lost it. Couldn't be saved by St. Edmond, and Perry comes away with the basketball. Perry bouncing it to Henry in the front court. Takes a step backwards, and great defense to knock the ball away. Henry was casually dribbling it. Clark reached in, was able to knock it off of Henry and knock it out of bounds. That's just a tremendous job by Kirsten Clark. And big substitution here for St. Edmond. They'll make their typical 5-5 change. 19-8. The ball goes into McLean. McLean averaging just over 4 points per game. Gives the ball to Allstott. Dribbles towards the center. Sends it left to Galis. Galis passing it right to McLean. McLean looking towards the near side. Back to Galis. Galis holding the ball high above her head, dribbles with her left hand, penetrates towards the lane. Little pass to Neeland. She'll settle for the jumper, no good. Offensive rebound is held, and they'll call a jump ball. Miracle originally had her hands in there, but the possession arrow will go to Algona as the Bulldogs were able to force the jump ball on that one. 1:18 and ticking in quarter number 1. Henry almost lost the ball. She brought it across the timeline. Now it's Hilbert. Hilbert dribbles right, gives the basketball up. Now the ball heads left. A 3-ball on the way. Henry misses it off to the left. Rebound Galis. Now down to 1 minute and a half. Algona still up by 11, and quickly coming into the front court and getting fouled is Maya McLean. Henry was defending her, and McLean really kicked it into a second gear there. I don't think she was quite ready to defend against that speed, and now McLean will head to the foul line. Kaylee Carroll will come in for Algona. Ava Henry heads to the bench. Carroll, the 5'10 sophomore, is McLean from the foul line. 57% on the year, and rattles that one home. First one of the 1-and-1, so she'll get one more crack at it here. 19-9 ball game. Saint Edmond now trying to get into double digits. McLean fires and misses long. Rebound goes to Chase. She'll give the ball up to Hilbert as Hilbert will bring it across the timeline on the far side of the court. Passing it far corner to Henry. Now gives it the basketball, gets it back though. Hilbert fires on a 3, just off. Offensive rebound though, right in the lane, putting it back up and putting it in. Kaylee Carroll. That's her second bucket of the night. She has 4 points. It's 21-9 Algona. 33 seconds to go. We'll see what St. Edmond tries to do here. Galis gives the basketball up to McLean. McLean looking, bouncing it towards the near corner, now gets the basketball back. 22 seconds to go. Pump fakes, fires it far side of the court to Allstott. Allstott looking desperately, gives it back to McLean. McLean into the lane, tries to fire a bounce pass, loses the ball, it squirts away. 10 seconds to go. Short corner jumper on the way, and it's good. Emma Allstott, nothing but net. That wasn't a pass. The ball just kind of rolled right into her lap, and no one was covering her. And now a pass up the court from Perry goes out of bounds with 0.3 seconds to go on the clock. So St. Edmond really doesn't have time to shoot a shot here. The clock will probably just expire. They get it in, the clock starts, no shot is taken, and that wraps up half number 1. 21-11 is the lead right now by Algona, and a tremendous first half. This team looked to have a lot of energy to begin the second part of the season. And right now the leading scorer in the game, Lillian Etherington, she has 8 points. So we'll go ahead and take a timeout. We'll be back with more coming up next. All right, we are back here from Algona High School at halftime of the girls' game. Algona currently leading St. Edmond by a score of 21-11, and right now we are fortunate enough to be joined by Coach Cecil. He's getting ready for the boys' game right now. And Coach, first of all, how was your winter break, both for you and the team, getting ready here for the stretch run of the season?
Very good winter break. You know, we've had a long layoff, but some great practices. Kids brought energy back the first day back, and since then they haven't let up. They've been pretty focused, and they're ready to get back on the court tonight.
Absolutely. And kind of take me through a little bit of the first half of the season in terms of your evaluation of the team. Obviously, a winning record so far, a 5-1 kind of stretch going into the winter break here. How do you evaluate the performance so far?
Absolutely. We knew when the season started we didn't come back with a ton of varsity floor experience, so we were looking to grow early. And, we talked after our first game with our kids about 4 or 5 games down the road, you'll look back at game number 1 and think, man, we've come a long ways. And I think on game 3 they told me that they could realize that already. So that's kind of been our mainstay, in the whole pre-Christmas run right there, is kids looking and being able to find progress day in and day out of practice, as well as every game, win or lose.
Now, obviously tonight, matchup against Saint Edmon. This is a team you haven't really seen since last season. How do they look this season? What's your kind of scouting report on them?
They look like a very well-coached. Coach Kirkendorfer does a great job with them, and this year's season no different for them. They are in every ball game. They keep every ball game close. They'll play some great defense and be disruptive and make it tough to score. Win or lose for them as well. Like I said, he gives them a chance at the end, and that's all you can ask for every night.
All right, Coach, we'll wrap it up with this and let you get back to get ready for the game. Going into the second half of the season, what's one area you think your team has done really well in that you want to see them continue, and what's one area that you would say you want to see them tighten it up a little bit and improve?
Absolutely. We've been playing a lot of transition ball from the beginning of the year, and that's been something that just keeps growing, and we're excited about that. One of our growth areas in that is realizing when it's a good time to run and a good time not to run. So we spent a lot of time in practice over break working on that and look to see that improve as the second half of the season gets underway.
All right, Coach, we thank you for your time and wish you the best of luck tonight. We'll be back with more here on Hometown Radio coming up next. All right, we just got done talking with Coach Cecil a couple minutes ago. As right now in the first half of the girls' game, Algona up 21-11. Coach Cecil giving some thoughts on the boys' game right now coming up for Algona, but taking a look back at the first half for the Algona women, and really you couldn't ask for a much better first half in terms of being up by 10, and maybe a few areas Algona wants to clean up. They did have some turnovers in the first half, did miss a few free throws that could have given them an even bigger lead at the half, but all in all, when you're a team with one win looking for win number 2, you can't complain about getting out to that 10-point edge. And for Algona, they were really able to do it by attacking with Lillian Etherington. And going into the game, she was averaging 9 points a game. Right now, already at 8. She's been just really cutting across the lane. She's been attacking the bucket. And the team has been making a committed effort to feed her the basketball. And also have to call out Alayla Perry. Early on in the game, they were really trying to feed her the ball down on the block and really just let her go to work against some smaller defenders that ended up matched up on her. And it worked well as Perry had 6 points in half number 1. And for Saint Edmond, not a whole lot went right. Their first half was plagued by a lot of turnovers and just many, many possessions that ended in them not even getting a shot off. They were able to close the deficit a little bit to end the half as they went on a 6-2 little spurt there to finish the second quarter. But overall, Saint Edmond really wants to improve the way they played here going in the second half. They struggled once again from the foul line as they have earlier this season, and just not a whole lot of scoring power going forward. Clark, their leading scorer right now with 4 points, but beyond that, not too much going for them on the offensive end. Algona's been able to play pressuring defense, and that's where you have to give credit to the Bulldogs. They've it's not St. Edmond necessarily just committing these turnovers. Algona has forced the turnovers to happen. They've done a little bit of backcourt pressure, but a lot of that front court or half court defense has been great for them. Active hands, they've been able to knock the ball away. They've been able to cause St. Edmond to get frustrated, and really it is shown here in the first half that Algona has come out well prepared to start the second half of the season. Both teams are out in the court now getting warmed up here as we're about 2.5 minutes to go until the start of the second half. And, when you talk about which team was sharper in the first half, I would say, both teams had their moments where it looked like they had quite the layoff since winter break and, weren't quite back into the flow of basketball yet. But Algona was really able to snap out of that a little bit quicker than St. Edmond was, and that is a big reason why we are where we are at the moment. And, you talk about development and being able to play together, and you can kind of see Algona maybe beginning to gel a little bit here as we start what is not technically the second half of the season, but, it sure feels like it. It feels like the first half of the season is what happens before winter break, and the second half is what happens after winter break. And if you kind of mentally divide it that way, we're in the second half of the season right now, and this is the time where Algona really wants to start seeing some improvement, starting to see their starting lineup gain more chemistry together and get used to each other's play styles and habits, and I think we may be seeing the beginnings of that here tonight. And, certainly something encouraging if you're Coach Noel McLaughlin, and he knows it's a young team. He knows that hopefully they have some more talent in the pipeline coming the next few years to supplement what they currently have and get the team back to what it was the last few seasons. But certainly if you want to start at the micro level tonight, you have to be happy if you're him. And we'll get his thoughts on this game during the boys' game, as well as we'll get his thoughts with an interview during halftime. And, St. Edmond, they're a program that hasn't really been able to get it going this year either. They maybe had a little momentum right before winter break as they got their first win of the season on the last game before taking that little layoff of winter break. But it does appear that they have lost the momentum that they had during that time with that win over Webster City. But really, I think the key for St. Edmond in the second half is you have to get back to the old solid fundamental, just get the ball to your playmakers. Neverman in the first half, who was their leading scorer so far, just wasn't really much of a factor. And part of the reason was she just didn't receive a whole lot of passes from her teammates. Algona played some stifling defense on her, and she really just wasn't able to get some of the low post opportunities that she would like, and wasn't really able to attack into the paint like she might normally try to do. So that really is one area that St. Edmond will try to improve here next half, as both teams are getting ready to come back out onto the court to begin quarter number 3. 21-11 is the Algona lead. And certainly trying for their largest win of the season if they can get it. Algona's only win was a close squeaker, a 3-point win over Webster City. And they're trying to have one of those second halves where they can really put their stamp on this game and say that they played a full 4 quarters of great basketball. But we'll see how the second half plays out. We are ready to get it going. Clark inbounds it to Harvey, and we're underway in half number 2. St. Edmond basketball. Krukoff gives the ball up to Neverman. Neverman holding the ball at the top of the key. Started to drive right, almost traveled there, but was able to pass it away before she did. Gets the ball back in the paint, spins around, misses the shot. Loose ball collected by Solbach for Algona. Even though that shot was missed, that's the right idea, giving Neverman an opportunity to work in the paint. Algona basketball, Solbach dribbles around the perimeter, now switches direction, feeds Perry in the post. Perry tries to pivot. Perry passes it away. She got it away from 2 defenders that time. Amazing that she wasn't committing a turnover there, but good job by Perry to pass it away. Algona still for the ball. A couple bounces from Hilbert. Gives it up. Now the pass from Chase is tipped as she tried to throw it inside, and it's taken by St. Edmond. Long pass up the court. Now into the lane to Neverman. Neverman had that one maybe partially blocked as it hit awkwardly off the backboard, and Algona with the rebound. A couple dribbles up the court. Holding the ball. Chase. Chase looking inside. Chase looking to give it up. Gets it to Etherington. Dribbling with her right hand. Started to head right to the lane. Got the ball knocked away, though. Rolled right to Hilbert. Hilbert directing traffic as she looks inside. Sends it out to Solbach. Her heels at the edge of the Bulldog logo at midcourt. And a little bit of defensive pressure comes up from Clark. She'll give the ball up, though. Bounce to Perry in the lane. Fires it up. Misses, but she got fouled on the play. And that looks like they'll probably get McLean on that one, and they will. So Perry will head back to the charity stripe. She'll be looking for points number 6 and 7. Her first foul shot bounces off the front of the rim, but gets the friendly bounce off the backboard and goes in. 22-11 is Algona, first team to score here in the second half. Perry will try to be perfect on this trip to the line. Shot on the way, and it is good. Perry able to cash in. She now has 8 points, and Algona now has a 12-point lead. We'll see if St. Edmond is able to answer back. McLean sees 2 players come. She fires it inside, and making the layup is Neverman. She was able to spin right past Perry, and once she did that, there was no one between her and the basket. 23-13 as Neverman has her first 2 of the night. Driving right and getting the shot blocked is Etherington. Back the other way come the Gales. Across the timeline, Harvey. Harvey right to McLean, had a wide open 3, passed it up, tried to fire it into Neverman. Back out to McLean. They send it around up top to Harvey. Harvey near side to Clark. Clark got cut off as she headed towards the baseline. Fell, she passed it. Right wing 3 for McLean. Rattles out, no good. Offensive board, Neverman. She spins. She has the ball poked at, and Solback peels it away. Solback looking for someone to pass it to. She falls down, but got it away. Not traveling there. Up the court, Perry. No one in front of her. Lays it up and lays it in. Alayla Perry just snuck out there, and it was a great find. 10 points for Alayla Perry. 25-13 Algona. Clark inside Neverman. Neverman gets hacked. Neverman made a nice pivot there, and I believe they'll probably call chase on that foul, and they will. So we'll send Leah Neverman to the foul line. 36.4% free throw shooter. Neverman has had a good season for the St. Edmond team. And when you look at it, she's scoring 25% of their points every game, as St. Edmond is a team that averages 32 points a game, and Neverman scoring 9 of those. And check that. They'll say it was on the floor, actually, in terms of the foul. So St. Edmond will inbound it. Harvey up top, McLean. Now back to the left wing, a 3-ball on the way. Clark way off on that one, and Solback comes up with the basketball. Solback across the timeline. Send it to Perry now. Couple passes back to Solbach. Ticking down to 5 minutes on the clock here for Algona. Etherington will head back up top and let the offense set itself. Passing it to Chase, back to Etherington. They feed Perry down on the block. Perry goes to work and finishes with the right hand. She spun that off the glass perfectly. 12 points now for Alayla Perry, who's having herself quite the night. And just like that, it's 27-13. 6-2 run for Algona to start the second half. And a push on the entry pass that time as Clark got knocked in the back there.
Personal foul called on Alayla Perry, her second.
They'll get Perry on that. That's her second. And it'll be a baseline play here to inbound it. Bouncing it into McLean. Ball rolls away, though, and coming up with it are the Bulldogs. Chase with it and gives it up to Solbach. Solbach will dribble it across half court. 4:26 and ticking. She takes a couple steps backwards, standing right on the Bulldog logo. Looks to her left, passes the ball to Etherington. Etherington tried to dump it to Perry, got it tipped by Clark. Got it back, though, back to Perry. Layup, no good, but she got fouled on the play. Nice job sticking with the play right there by Etherington as Clark knocked her pass almost right back into her lap, and she was able to try again to pass it to Perry. And Alayla Perry will head to the charity stripe again. First foul shot, good. Got a little bit of iron there, but was able to knock it home. 28-13 lead for Algona. Neeland into the game for St. Edmond. Perry's second foul shot, that one good as well. And I'll tell you what, for someone who maybe isn't a great free throw shooter, she is having a very good night at the foul line so far. And now 14 points for Alayla Perry, the sophomore. Algona will come out in some full court pressure here. Looking to inbound it is Harvey. Harvey floats it in, pass tipped in the air, it rolls. Etherington on the far side of the court picks it up, and she gets fouled. Tried to wrap her way around Kirsten, and Kirsten just didn't give her any room to maneuver there. Good full court defense by Algona. That ball was rolling loose for a little while after it got tipped, and eventually was tracked down by the Bulldogs. And they immediately throw away the inbounds pass, but it gets tipped and goes right back to Algona, trying to drive in, and a blocking foul is going to be called. Kirsten will get another foul called on her. Etherington attacked the basket again. And the fouls are starting to pile up here in the second half for Saint Edmond. Baseline inbounds play here. They float it high to Chase, who catches it at the elbow, gives the ball up to Etherington, passing it away to Carroll. Now they try to go inside, and it's taken away. Kirsten got it, now up the court to Harvey. Harvey bounce pass to Neiman. She went up strong from the left side, and she got fouled. So Neeland will head to the free throw line here. She's only attempted a couple free throws this season, but she has made all of them. Carroll's first foul of the ball game. Neeland's first free throw bounces high off the rim and is no good. Perry and Solback come back into the game for Algona. They'll replace Chase and Etherington. Neeland will try to settle for a split of the pair here. Foul shot on the way. Bounces off to the right, no good. Loose on the floor, ripped at, and they'll call a held ball here. Solback got in there for Algona, and the possession arrow in favor of the Bulldogs. Perry into Solbach, and she'll slowly jog the ball across half court. Started to her right, doesn't use the screen from Perry, kicks to the far corner, line drive, three ball, no good that time from Henry. Ball rolls loose on the floor, picked up by Algona. Henry got the ball to Solbach. Solbach started to her right now, heads to the left, kicks to the far corner again. Another three ball, that one way too far from Henry that time. It goes out of bounds though, and one ticked off of Harvey, and Algona gets to keep it again. Avery Galis comes into the game, the senior for Saint Edmond. Looking, lobbing it in the lane to Perry. Now she kicks it out to Henry. Henry drives left of the lane, fights up a shot, and she got fouled. Henry went attacking the basket that time, and now the sophomore will look for her first points of the ballgame at the charity stripe.
Personal foul called on Leah Johnson, her first.
We'll get Leah Johnson on the foul, and Algona has just continued to attack the basket here in the second half. First foul shot up, and it is good from Henry. The sophomore, 57% foul shooter. Takes a dribble, fires up the second foul shot. That one rolls off. Rebound Perry, and puts it back up and in. Boy, you just can't box out Perry down low, as she just gets around it seemingly almost every other time. Now we take down towards 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. 32-13 Algona lead, and a travel is going to be called against Johnson. Substitution here for Algona. They'll bring a few different players in with 3:05 on the clock. I wonder if they're going to call a technical foul on Saint Edmond bench that time. That looks like what they might be doing. I'm not sure if... And they will call a technical foul on the bench, so obviously someone over there was giving the referees a piece of their mind, and that was about all they wanted to hear at this point in the game. So Algona will go ahead and send Lillian Etherington to the foul line here for the technical free throw. 32-13 Algona. Etherington, 68.6% foul shooter, but she misses on the first one. And she'll have another one to go here. Takes one dribble, puts it up, and she bounces it in. So Etherington able to split the pair, and with the technical foul, Algona will be able to keep the basketball. With a 33-13 lead, that 20-point lead is their largest margin of this ball game so far. Algona trying to figure out who they want to inbound the play here. It'll be Hilbert. Hilbert looking, and she'll get it into Solbach in the backcourt, and she'll walk it across half court. Solbach gives it up to Etherington. Etherington heading right, passes it inside the three-point line to Chase. Chase looking down low to Solbach, runs into two defenders, kicks it out, left wing three ball, swish. Maddie Hilbert able to knock down her first three of the ball game. She's not really a huge three-point shooter tonight so far, but able to get her first one to go. A foul line jumper on the way on the other end, and it is good. Maya McLean hits her first field goal of the ball game, and it's 36-15 right now, still in favor of Algona. 2:27 on the clock. Driving to the left side, Etherington had that shot bothered. Perry the rebound. Perry puts it up and in. Perry has been unstoppable from that right block, whether she's receiving a pass down there and gets to make a post move, or whether she gets an offensive rebound. Whenever she's in that position, she has seemingly converted so far tonight. How about 19 points in this one? Now the pass down low is tipped, and it tips right into the hands of Perry. Perry coming up the court, has the ball knocked away from her. She picks it back up, and Harvey ran right into her ankles there. She tried to dive for the loose ball. That'll be a foul every time. Perry comes up a little gimpy, but she appears to be all right. As Saint Edmond will run in 3 substitutes here. Allstott into the game, as well as Neverman. And they'll bring Clark back in as well. Under 2 minutes now to go in quarter number 3. A commanding lead for Algona as they're vying for win number 2 of the season. Solbach passing it to the right wing to Etherington. Around the perimeter, floats it high in the air to Perry. Perry was tightly covered that time as the ball got knocked away. And coming up with it are the Gales. Up the court comes Clark. Clark tried to pass it down low. It sneaks over the head of Harvey. She tips it and saves it from going out of bounds, but tips it right to Algona. And now falling down and passing it away is Hilbert. Got it to a teammate. Up the court, Clark. Clark to Solbach. Looked to take the mid-range jumper. Fought better of it. Passing it right. Open free for Hilbert. She passed it up. Threw it to Perry. Perry thought she got hacked, but she did not as she put up the layup and couldn't hit the rim. And after that wild sequence of action, St. Edmond has the basketball. Bounce pass right, now up top to Harvey. Harvey sends it left, now down onto the baseline to Allstott. They send it back up beyond the three-point line. It's Harvey up top. She'll fire it right to Galis. Galis looking down on the block to Neverman. And that pass a little bit too long for her, and it goes out of bounds. Another turnover by St. Edmond. With under a minute to go, Algona slowly brings the ball into the front court with Etherington. Etherington awaiting the screen from Perry. She'll go around it. She'll give it back to Perry. Perry drives left, crashes into a defender, and they'll get Neverman on the foul that time. Boy, Layla Perry, everything she has touched tonight has turned into gold. And once again, she heads to the foul line here with a chance to get her 20th point of the night. First foul shot on the way, and it is good. So she'll earn a second free throw here on the 1-and-1. Now with 20 out of the 39 Algona points. Anytime you can score more than half your team's production, it's good, although she misses off to the left on the second foul shot. And Neverman with the rebound. Harvey into the front court. Bounce pass to the right. 3-ball on the way. Bang! Clark knocks it down as she had a wide open look that time. 39-18. 7 points for Clark now. Solbach sends it left to Hilbert. Hilbert dribbles it back to the right now, passing it near side. Etherington feeds Perry on the right block again, puts it up over and through a defender and in. It doesn't matter what kind of coverage you have on our Layla Perry tonight. She's going to score it no matter what. 41-18. Perry with 21. Shot on the other end, no good from Neverman. Gets it back, no good again. And a loose ball foul will be called on the court here. Look at that one against Algona with 1 second to go on the clock. And an inbounds play from the baseline is coming for St. Edmond. Algona runs in a couple subs here for the last second of the quarter. Ava Henry into the game, as well as Izzy Henry. Perry will take a break here after having a tremendous stretch of play in quarter number 3. 1 second to go. Ball inbounded. It's tipped away from McLean, and that will end quarter number 3. Algona really put their mark on that quarter, and they now lead it 41-18 as we head to the third here on Hometown Radio. Well, how would you like a 20-7 run during the third quarter if you're a Bulldog fan? Because that is what just happened, and that is what gives Algona a 41-18 lead over Saint Edmond. Saint Edmond basketball starting off this final quarter of action, driving down the center of the lane and floating it is McLean. She'll miss it. The ball will roll right into the Saint Edmond bench and out of bounds. 7:44 on the clock, and Algona really controlling this one here in the final quarter. Ball's inbounded by Carroll. She'll give it into Henry. Henry to the far side of the court, across the timeline, kicks it into the far corner. A three ball on the way. Izzy Henry missing on it, though. Off the pass from Ava Henry. And coming the other way are the Gales. Dancing into the lane, Clark, passing it back out to Neverman. Looking inside, tries to weave her way around Henry, and she gets fouled on the play. So they'll call hold there, and it'll be a baseline play to inbound it, coming from St. Edmond. Avery Galis looking in, gets it into McLean. Now back at the foul line to Neverman, back to the basket, fires it down onto the low block, bounce pass out to Neverman. Jumper just inside the three-point line, no good. Offensive board, Galis, back to Neverman. Short jumper, and she rolls it in. 4 points for Leah Neverman tonight. Bulldogs have done a pretty good job shutting her off in this game, but a couple buckets here late. 41-20 now the score. To the right, to Etherington. Drives on the baseline, kicks it out. One dribble, three ball on the way from Henry. No good for Izzy Henry, the junior, as it hit off the backboard. And back the other way comes St. Edmond. Almost picking up her dribble that time was Maya McLean, but fought better of it. McLean bounced pass towards the right to Galis. Had an open three, but passed it up, sent it to the foul line instead. Jumper, no good. Clark couldn't connect. And Algona rebound. Across half court, losing the basketball briefly is Henry. It rolls onto the floor, it's tied up, and that's a jump ball. Nice job to peel it away at that time from Neverman. And Solbach is back into the game, Perry's back into the game, and Hilbert into the game as well for Algona. And the story tonight, Alayla Perry and her 21 points. We'll see if she's able to build on that at all here in the final quarter of action. Inbounds play, trying to find Chase down low, but batting it away was Emma Allstott as she got right in the passing lane and knocked it out of bounds. So once again, Algona will inbound it from the baseline. Looking, lobbing to Chase. 6:25 on the clock. Passing it near side to Hilbert. Goes back on the block to Perry. She'll kick it out. Solbach three. It's good! Tora Solbach hits it off the assist from Perry, and that time Perry passed out of the double team, didn't attack it, and found a good look for her teammate for a three ball. So Perry continues to contribute in any way possible, including assists. 44-20, 6 minutes to go. On the baseline, and a push is going to be called against Algona. They have committed quite a few fouls here tonight, and really that statement applies to both teams. St. Edmond will slap the ball, inbounds pass to a wide open mid-range jumper, and Allstott banks it home off the backboard. She had that jumper wide open from the far side of the court as Algona lost track of her on the inbound play. Score 44-22 right now in favor of the Bulldogs. They tried to throw it to Perry down on the block again, and that pass knocked away, and Perry is pretty much just running straight to the block in every possession, posting up and waiting for the basketball, and you can't blame her. That's worked pretty well tonight as a layup floated off the glass on the other end by Clark. Give her 2 more points and a 9-point effort so far on the evening. 44-24, bounce pass down low, layup is up, and it's good from Alexa Chase, the senior. Nice job using her body to shield off the defender a little bit that time. And Chase on the board for the first time tonight. 46-24 Algona. St. Edmond back with the basketball, 3 ball on the way, Clark. Front iron, no good, rolls off to Chase, and an over-the-back foul will be called on Neverman. Textbook block out that time from Alexa Chase, the senior, who's averaging just over 3 rebounds per game. And she has one right there. Casey Krukoff comes back into the game for St. Edmond. She will replace Emma Allstott. And this will be a 1-and-1 with the fouls piling up for St. Edmond. 8th team foul for them. On the way, Chase no good. Perry tracks on the rebound, tries to go back up with it. Had that shot erased, though, as Neverman got the block. Neverman is second in the conference in blocks per game, and she has had a couple of those tonight. St. Edmond firing up a 3-ball, no good from Galis, and Perry will come down with the rebound between two defenders, tried to dribble away with it though, and had it go off her knee and out of bounds. After the rebound, St. Edmond had two players surround her, and Perry had nowhere to dribble, nowhere to pass, and that caused a turnover. Gracie Harvey to inbound from the baseline, bouncing it in. Ball goes to the foul line to Neverman. A couple passes around the perimeter. Now a pass down onto the left block, trying to put it up, but getting it partially blocked there is Krukov. And now a jumper no good. Getting the rebound, Neverman tries to turn around and put it back up, and she got fouled on the play. Some second chance opportunities, and Alexa Chase ends up committing the foul.
Her third, 17 foul.
4:33 to go in this one. Neverman to the free throw line. She's had 6 points so far in this one. First foul shot on the way, and that one is good. That'll give her 7 for the game so far. As Algona continues to lead it by 21 points. Second foul shot missed, rebound loose, and that'll be taken by Chase. She'll give the ball to Solbach to work it across the court as we're down under 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go in this one. Dribbling with her right hand, starts right, heads around, Perry to the left, right down the center of the lane. Almost a little Euro step there, missed the layup though. Chase got it back, layup no good, and she got fouled on the follow-up. Alexa Chase will head to the foul line here, and boy, that could have been quite the highlight for Solbach that time as she danced right down the center of the lane, and almost a little James Harden imitation there with the Euro step, but couldn't quite get the layup to fall. But in any case, she'll take the 21-point lead. Kirsten Clark comes back into the game for St. Edmond.
Chase shooting 2.
She'll replace Krukov, and Chase will shoot 2 foul shots here. First one too long, no good, as that was actually her first free throw attempt of the season. And she'll try again here and try to make her first foul shot of the year. That one is up, and that one misses short as it goes out of bounds. St. Edmond gets the ball back. And Chase will take a seat on the bench, replaced by Kaylee Carroll. Carroll's had quite a bit of run tonight in this one. Not someone who plays a ton of minutes for Algona, but she has spent plentiful time on the court in this game. Johnson fires across court. Harvey tries to drive in, and a blocking foul is going to be called against Hilbert. Couldn't quite get set in a good defensive position that time, and Harvey was able to catch her off balance. That'll be the second foul on Hilbert and the 18th foul as well, so Harvey heads to the free throw line here, looking to extend on her 2 points, and she does as she buries the first of the 1-and-1. 4:02 to go, 20-point lead for Algona. She tries to bury the second one here, and she does as she swishes it. 4 points for Gracie Harvey, and it's 46-27. Algona coming up at the far side of the court with Etherington, gives the ball up to Solbach. Fadwa pulling up for 3, sends it towards Hilbert instead. A couple quick passes at the perimeter, and then a foul is going to be committed by Kirsten Clark. Was trying to body up and play physical defense against Kaylee Carroll, but they call the foul on the bump, and Carroll now heads to the free throw line, and 10 team fouls for St. Edmond. Those fouls are really piling up like crazy in this one. First free throw on the way, and that clangs off to the side, no good. Sophomore Ava Henry comes back into the game. She'll replace Maddie Hilbert. One more free throw on the way for the sophomore Carroll. And that one had good spin on it as it bounced off the rim and went in. So Carroll now with 7 points in the ball game. And St. Edmond finds themselves trailing to Algona again by 20. Trying to go down low, and Neverman had that one blocked by Perry. And now a held ball will be called on the loose ball. Perry didn't even have to jump on that one. Neverman just kind of shot it right into the open palm of Perry. St. Edmond to inbound it from the baseline, and that pass gets swatted out of bounds by Kaylee Carroll. St. Edmond still keeping it here. And Algona still keeping with the great defensive effort that they've displayed so far in this game. And that pass is taken away by Algona. Coming up the court, Etherington weaves between two defenders. Layup too strong, though. Rebound by Johnson. Johnson loses it. Solbach tries to save it. And that's out of bounds off of Algona. Solbach had to briefly pull up there at the last minute, as I don't think she wanted to go flying face first into the unforgiving bleachers on the far side of the court. And no one can blame her for that. So St. Edmond basketball now. 3:25 to go. Coming across half court, Harvey sends it towards the right to Clark. Clark on the right wing, dribbles to her left now across the foul line. Bounce pass down on the left block to Neverman. Can't finish it though as it rolls off. Saves it back into play though to McLean. And McLean gets fouled from behind as she pivoted as Henry hacked her on that one. So McLean will head back to the charity stripe here for a couple free throws. And Hilbert will come back into the game. She'll replace Henry for Algona. First free throw of the 1-and-1 here coming from McLean, who has 3 points so far in this game. Foul shot on the way. That one good, so she earns the second one here on the 1-and-1. Takes her time as she steps up to the line, takes a couple quick dribbles. Foul shot up, and swishes it. 47-29 now. And we'll have a full timeout called on the court, so we'll go ahead and take a quick timeout as well, right here on Hometown Radio. Well, Algona right now rocking and rolling out to a 47-29 lead over St. Edmond as we play here in quarter number 4. Into the front court come the Bulldogs. Etherington sends the ball to the right, dribbling across the foul line. Now a travel is going to be called here against Kaylee Carroll. So that may be one area where Algona looks to clean up a little bit on here going forward, and just the ability to commit less turnovers. But besides that, not too many areas of complaint here in this 47-29 ball game. St. Edmond basketball after the turnover. Harvey across the timeline sends it right. Neverman, 3-ball on the way, and she rattles it home. Leah Neverman starting to score a little bit here in the late stages of the ball game, but looks like it won't be enough for St. Edmond as they still trail 47-32. And ball will go out of bounds here. Kept by Algona. It'll be Hilbert to inbound it from the far side of the court, right in front of the section where a few fans are sitting and watching this ball game. Etherington dribbles for her right hand, sends it back to the left wing to Solbach. Solbach around the perimeter towards the right to Henry. Henry tried to send it back to Hilbert on the other side. It went out of bounds though, but they'll say it was tipped there by St. Edmond, so Algona keeps possession. Hilbert looking. Hilbert getting it into the backcourt to Solbach. And Solbach dribbles to her left, kicks it out beyond the three-point line. Hilbert sends it back to the right to Henry. Now back to Solbach. Solbach steps back, 2:12 and taking on the clock. Solbach goes to her left again. Hands the ball off to Henry. Henry passing it to the right to Hilbert. Hilbert around the perimeter back to Solbach. Algona continuing to burn clock here. Solbach takes a couple steps back towards the Bulldog logo at midcourt and sends it left to Hilbert. Hilbert works the ball around the perimeter to Etherington. Perry posting up inside, but I don't think the ball is coming there until St. Edmond comes out and tries to make a steal here. They're still playing off a little bit on Algona. A pass to the far side of the court to Hilbert. A lot of time running on this possession, as at this point we're approaching the 40-second mark of this possession beginning. Hilbert works around the perimeter. Now a little bit more aggressive defense starting to be played by St. Edmond as Harvey creeps up to defend, that is. 1:23 now, they try to send it down to Perry in the post, but the ball is taken away by Neverman. Opportunity for a 2-on-1. Neverman up the court. Solbach bothered that shot, though, and the layup no good. Offensive rebound, St. Edmond. They send it out for a 3-ball. Left it short, though. Clark couldn't convert. Perry with the rebound. We're down to 1:06 to go in this one. Algona clearly on their way to win number 2 of the season, up 47-32. Hilbert swinging the ball wildly, gives it up to Henry. Henry guarded by Johnson, lobs a pass towards the far side of the court back to Hilbert, now up top Solbach. Solbach getting pressured by Clark. Solbach sends it to the far side of the court to Harvey. Harvey looking for somewhere to go, got it to Hilbert. Now the ball goes back to Solbach again. She gets bumped at midcourt and a foul be called. And after all the time that ran off there, you'll take that if you're Algona. That's exactly what they're trying to do, and this is a good chance to work on that late game situation and improve on that going forward later on for the season. And Algona executing it to perfection as Solbach heads to the line for 2 foul shots, and that's make your passes, run some clock, force the defense to come up and be aggressive and try to make a foul on you. And that's exactly what happened for the Bulldogs. Some really perfect late game execution. One more foul shot here from Solbach. 36 seconds left to go in this one. The sophomore takes a couple dribbles and puts that one in. So 48-32 now. St. Edmond seeing if they can just sneak 1 or 2 final baskets in here to try to make this score a little bit closer, as a foul is going to be called against Solbach. And 3 throws on the way here from St. Edmond. Michaela leading the freshman to the line. First one on the way, and that one rolls off the rim, no good. So she'll get one more opportunity here. Spins the ball backwards, takes one dribble, puts up the foul shot. That one no good, ball tipped. Gets knocked out of bounds, though, by Algona. And keeping it here is St. Edmond. So a timeout will be called by St. Edmond. It'll be a 30-second timeout, and we'll keep it right here. And we'll take this opportunity to kind of look ahead and see what's coming up for Algona. We mentioned it earlier in the game, but they're playing Garner Hayfield Ventura next. And, you know, that's a team that's been in the middle of the pack in the conference. They're 4-4 overall coming into tonight. And it is the second game of a back-to-back, so Algona is on the road tomorrow. You know, they will be a little bit tired, and obviously you celebrate the win, but you can't dwell on it for too long, as they'll have to get back up and get back into gear and try to start off the second half with not only one win, but, you know, what they call a winning streak, and try to double the previous total of wins that they had coming into the second half of the season. So that'll be what comes up next for Algona, and see if they can really continue on this momentum in the second half of the season. Ball inbound, layup, no good for St. Edmond, and another foul is going to be called with 23 seconds to go. Avery Galis heads to the free-throw line. And things are getting a little bit sloppy with the fouls here down the stretch, but again, all in all, you will take a performance like this if you're Algona, as it has been a definitive performance, especially here in the second half. The free throw is missed. Algona took a 10-point lead into halftime, but they were able to extend that all the way to the 21-point mark, even though it's a little closer than that right now. Algona still very comfortably ahead in this one by 16, as the second foul shot is missed. Algona rebounds it with Hilbert, and we'll see if they're able to dribble out the final time in this clock. 17 seconds to go as Solbach gets the basketball, takes a couple steps backwards towards half court, gets a little bit of pressure from Galis. We tick down to 10 seconds to go. Hilbert now with the basketball, passing it away. Now the handoff back to Solbach with 4 seconds to go. 2 seconds to go, and the final buzzer will sound. A dominant performance from start to finish by Algona, as they're able to impose their will on this St. Edmond team and win by a final score of 48-32. And I think it's pretty simple. The player of the game tonight is Alayla Perry. 21 points in this game, and really she left no doubt, especially in the second half. The team just continued to go to her on the block. She showed some tremendous post moves, especially pivoting to her right. She was able to finish almost every basket when she was able to do that. She got a ton of offensive rebounds in this game, made her foul shots, made some plays on the defensive end, some blocks, and really, you just couldn't ask for a much better performance, to be frank. It really just is truly impressive, the performance that she had here tonight. So Alayla Perry is really the hands-down player of the game, I think you would have to say, in this one. But Algona gets their second win of the season. They're going to improve to 2-8. St. Edmond will drop to 1-8 overall. And, you know, it's a feel-good thing for the second half of the season when you're able to just kind of start off and be able to get into a rhythm like Algona was able to do, attacking the basket, imposing your will, and really executing the way you would want to do it if you were a coach. So great win for Algona. They'll move ahead tomorrow and face Garner Hayfield Ventura. We're going to take a little break. We'll have the boys game between Algona and St. Edmond. That will be coming your way in about 15 minutes right here on KLGA.